Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you are listening to the sound of my voice, then you're tuned in to another episode of Marking Out Amongst Friends, the podcast. You know me, it's your boy, Jay Riddy in the building. And you know, if I'm in the building, I ain't never rolling solo dolo. I always got my family here with me. So in the building, we got a special guest returning to the panel. It's my boy, it's my homie, computer tech whiz, / rapper, / bad snatcher, / massage therapist. Give it up for my boy, Shawn Mart.
Yo, what up, what up?
All right. Now, as you noticed, I went directly into introducing our special guest tonight. Lady Great One is having some technical difficulties right now. We're expecting her to join live, so if you guys are listening to the show for Lady Great One, she's going to be on the show. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't start commenting and saying anything about us. You know, she's going to be here. We know she's the main attraction. We can't have a show without Lady Great One. But in the meantime, me and my boy Shawn Mart, we're going to discuss Fastlane 2019 this weekend. We're going to discuss the card. We're going to say who we think is going to win. We're going to give all our predictions. And we're also going to talk about who has the most to gain or lose from Fastlane this weekend going into the last stretch of the road to WrestleMania. All right, all this and more later on. But before we jump into any of that shit, hit my damn music.
He looks like a fan.
Marking out.
He was marking out, man.
450 off the top with the top splash. Leader of the new school, ain't no way to stop us. Mark it out, screaming loud, tell me who you with. Competition is none, cause we lunatics. Walk with me down these roads if you're all in. I love the feeling, baby, time to go to work again. Come together like a fist and we do it proud. Light it up and burn it down, cause we marking out.
He was marking out, man.
So my man Shawn Mart, how does it feel to be back on the show with us? I know it feels good from this end to have you back.
Man, it feels great, man. You know what I'm saying? To be able to, chop it up with wrestling fans, you know what I'm saying, such as myself. We grew up watching wrestling, talking about it, always wanting to be a part of it, and just to be able to have the knowledge and the capability and the means, such as your podcast, to be able to, express, our displeasures and our pleasures. Feels really great to be back, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And, when it comes to discussing, wrestling, this is what we do for free anyway. So we might as well, record it and put it out there for other folks to listen to. I always appreciated my friends because it's this stigma that people have about wrestling fans. Everybody thinks that, we're all, nerds that play World of Warcraft and complain on the internet all day. It's far from the truth. All of my friends that discuss wrestling, we're not just wrestling fans. We do a lot of things. We're rap connoisseurs, R&B connoisseurs, multi-talented people. You a rapper. I get my vocal on every now and then. I'm here to try to break the stigma. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, that's the type of people that I want to be able to listen to this podcast. This podcast is for all my people who watch wrestling but do gangster shit on the side. You know what I'm saying? That's the people. That's the people that I'm talking to right now. Those, you know what I'm saying? I might watch Roman Reigns spear somebody on Monday night. You know what I'm saying? And then I might make a hot diss track against you on Tuesday night. You know what I'm saying? It's just how we roll. That's what we do here on the Marking Out Amongst Friends podcast, other than just marking out amongst ourselves, so to speak.
And you know what? We definitely need to get something straight. If you are a wrestling fan, but when somebody starts talking bad and talking down about wrestling, and you just put your head down and walk towards the other corner like you don't hear them, you better start defending wrestling because you're a wrestling fan. If you watch it, you watch it. You know, watching wrestling is no different from going to the movie theater and watching the latest movies that come out. Fast and the Furious. You see a car going right under an 18-wheeler. How many times you really go see that while you're on Interstate 40? Never. You're not going to see it. Why? Because it's not real. So the next time you hear somebody say that wrestling isn't real, you tell them that the next movie that they want to see anybody in, that ain't real neither.
No. You know what? You spoke. Talk to him. Hold on. You spoke for a minute. Let me jump in for a second because you spoke something there. You spoke something there. So you know the podcast thing. You know we do this. You know every Thursday night. You know, but we all have a 9 to 5. So you know I recently started a new 9 to 5 within the last month or so. You know, so I'm in class. You know, I'm learning the new job and everything. And, you know, we got to do our little icebreakers. Everybody get up. Hey, my name is such and such. I'm from this area. And, you know, I like to blah, 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 blah. So, you know what? I'm thinking I'm about to go up here and shine. I'm like, you know, my name is, you know, such and such, a.k.a. better known as Mr. J. Ritty in the building. And, you know, I host a podcast about wrestling, you know, every Thursday night, roughly around 8 o'clock CP time. If y'all don't know what CP time is, I'm not going to tell y'all what CP time is. Just know that just means we're not going to start at the same time every week. Shut the fuck up. But I tell everybody that I host a wrestling podcast, and the first thing says, whoa, you still watch wrestling? Isn't that stuff fake? Boy. First and foremost, if you're a wrestling fan, that's the worst thing somebody could do. Shout out to the people who defend wrestling on their job and almost got put on corrective action because you had to check a nigga for talking shit about wrestling. This podcast is for you too. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, while I'm talking about who this is podcast for, it's for everybody. I'm talking to my real folks right now, my real wrestling watchers. This podcast is gonna be for those people who like to have friends that have a different mindset when it comes to wrestling. But when they bring up that different mindset, you still gonna argue with them. This podcast for your ass too. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me keep it going. You can tell I watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just. Can I be transparent for a second?
Go ahead, brother.
Can I be transparent for a second? See, the real me is starting to come out for a second right now. Like, the real me. Man, this ain't even Jay Ritty in the building right now. Like, Jonathan is talking right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I do this show, I have this bad habit of wanting to be all upbeat and proper and professional and, you know, absolutely blah, 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 blah. But when it comes down to it, it's just not real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to give y'all the real gutterness that is me. You know, I've tried to be proper, but it's not authentic. How can I really mark amongst my friends if I'm not being the real me, so to speak? So from now on, I don't know if you guys have listened to the show before, for those who've listened out here, but from now going forward, you're going to get the real me. It's not going to be a lot of that old proper stuff. You're going to hear a couple of curse words flying. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was watching a show, and this is another show, and I shout out to these guys that, you know, do this podcast as well. I'm an avid watcher of the 85 South Show. Now, if you guys are listening, you don't know what the 85 South Show is. This is a comedic show, variety show. Sometimes they do a podcast. Sometimes they do stand-up. You know, sometimes they do music. It's just they're jacks of all trades. But one thing that they do is they definitely speak to their audience. And I felt like I wasn't doing that when I wasn't being me. So for the people who've been listening to this show and for the folks that are listening to this show going forward, I'm sorry that I haven't been authentic, but you gonna get the real me going forward.
Well, not to cut you off, but it's like that's how it is in just everyday society. the person you are when you wake up is not the person that clocks in at your job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not two different people. You have to get up and go somewhere because you have obligations. But just imagine if they was just like, today when you can clock in and just be yourself and we won't fire you today for being yourself and we won't hold it against you. What in the hell would people do on a day like that?
You can't tell a nigga like me that. You can't you can't tell me that I can be me for 8 hours today, no matter who I talk to. It's just I can't fathom that. There's no way. There's no way possible. But anyway,
Fuck around and do more work.
but
It'd be the total damn opposite.
we rambling. This is good combo. But I want to jump into this pay per view because a lot of people look at Fastlane as a very minuscule pay per view, which it is when you compare it to the Big Four. But it's a lot of stuff happening at Fastlane this weekend that could make a big determination of how things for WrestleMania are going to go, so to speak. So let's kind of jump into this event and I'll kind of go down the line. You've done this before. You've done predictions with us before. You've done recaps with us before. You know how we do here on the Marking Out Amongst Friends podcast. Let's start with the pre-show right now. We have on the pre-show confirmed Rey Mysterio versus Andrade in a singles match. Now, we've seen this match a couple of times on SmackDown. We've seen them in a mixture of matches. We even saw them in a Fatal 4-Way this week for the U.S. Championship where a new U.S. champion was crowned. Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Who do you got in this matchup and why?
So I have Cien Almas going over Rey Mysterio for the 1,000th time or whatever. I feel that Cien Almas either can win and possibly become a babyface. I see him and Ray being a great tag team because he has stated that he's looked up to Ray his whole career. I can see that happening. But I also want to go with Cien Almas because I think that I want to see more. Is it Zelina or Selena? Which one is it? Is it Zelina or
Zelina? It's a Z. It's the
okay,
Z.
That Z. So I want to see more of her because that was a gorgeous Hurricane Rana that she did on R-Truth on SmackDown. That was by far the prettiest Hurricane Rana from a woman that I've seen. And Rey Mysterio ain't but so damn tall, so doing one on him would make it even look more gangster if he was to land on his feet. So I just want to see the acrobatics of it all, but I'm going with Cien Almas. I think he has more to gain from a win than Rey Mysterio does, whether if they keep him a heel or turn him face.
I think that's definitely true. I mean, of course, he has much more to gain from Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, I think, is in that mode that Chris Jericho is in right now. Like, he's going to go out, he's going to give you an entertaining match, but he's primarily here to put people over. So I'm going Andrade in this match as well. They could definitely shock us, and Andrade could take the L on the pre-show, but I think that I don't see Rey Mysterio winning in this match. I've heard a lot of the rumors that they've been discussing about him, possibly teaming up with Andrade and Andrade going face. And while I think it would work and they would be a very entertaining tag team, I'm kind of sick of them. And when I say them, I mean WWE as a whole. I'm kind of sick of them grabbing nationalities and teaming them up as if because they're the same nationality that they would mesh well, so to speak. Like, we know that Rey Mysterio and Andrade have wonderful chemistry in the ring as opponents. But do we know for sure they're going to have the same chemistry as a tag team facing other tag teams on a weekly basis, on a nightly basis? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you threw the New Day together. You know, you threw Titus Worldwide together. You threw the Lucha House Party together.
Whack.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you teamed, what was the tournament that they had? The women's tag team tournament that they had in NXT at some point where they teamed two Asian stars together. You know, you're teaming Asians together, and it's just like, it's a common theme here. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. We don't have to team black people with black people and Hispanics with Hispanics. They can stand on their own. You know, they can stand on their own. Now, there's some people that might need a little bit of help, but that doesn't mean just pair them up with the next nationality of the same sort, so to speak. Like, you know, I'm surprised they haven't tried to throw, you know, Sin Cara in that same mix, you know, by tagging him up with Rey Mysterio and Andrade, and we'll have a new Lucha Underground house party, so to speak.
Part 9.
You know, Part 9, Lucha. You know, it's like they don't know how to book Hispanics.
That's probably the problem. They probably don't know how.
It's like, oh, you wear a mask. You're a luchador. These are luchadors too. You guys go out there and have fun. It's a party. I got it. Lucha house party. It's going to be wonderful.
But you know, the kids, I think they do that to target the kids because the kids want the mask and they want the merchandise and they
take the mask off. Future.
But they feel connected with these superstars. So it's kind of like, do I go out here and just go along with it and not be able to showcase any of my real wrestling skills and just kind of do this gimmick, or do I rebel against the system, say that shit is cheesy and I don't want to do it, and then I'm not shown on TV? Because I think that whole shit is just cheesy. I think it's just overdone. I don't see Sin Cara doing anything besides the hokey shit, as Dean Ambrose would say. And I don't even know much about the other two dudes. I know they came from like 205, I think, but 205, the only thing good about them is Buddy Murphy, because Mustafa Ali is now on SmackDown. So
I can't say that. I can't say that. I can't say that because Cedric Alexander is still there.
Is he?
Yeah, he's still there. He went nowhere else. He ain't went nowhere else. He's still there. Akira Tozawa and Buddy Murphy have had great matches.
Trash.
You know, Buddy Murphy is not the only thing on 205 Live.
You're right. He's the best thing.
I mean, but that's saying a lot. It's a lot of talented stars. For you to not think that there's talent on 205 Live, it makes me feel like you haven't been watching all of those matches in the last probably year and a half.
Who better than Buddy Murphy? Who better than Buddy Murphy?
Cedric Alexander, I already named him. Leo Rush is on 205 Live, the man of the hour.
No. He is raw. He's raw.
He's on 205 Live too. He's actively feuding with people on 205 Live. Mike Bennett is on 205 Live. Now, I just recently learned that one because I hadn't watched in a while, but Mike Bennett's on 205 Live. 205 Live has got some talent.
I'll let you have that one.
It's got some talent.
I'll get that to you.
Thank you.
That's
all I ask. That's all I ask. Jay Ready in the building. Sometimes I just want my credit.
Get that? Boom. You got that, brother. You got that.
You know, Capital One. I just want my credit. What's in your wallet?
Hey.
So for the next match on the card, when we jump into the main card, as you can tell, I'm stalling. Triple threat tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. You have the current champions, the Revival, versus Aleister Black and Ricochet versus former champions Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. So there's no special stipulation behind this being a triple threat. It's just a triple threat tag team match. No ladders, no chairs, no tables, no weapons. But we got some phenomenal wrestlers in this match. So this could definitely go either way. Who are you thinking is going to come away with the W in this match?
All right, so I'm just going to say this, and this is no way, shape, or form in any kind of biasness or whatever, and this has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like the Revival. Nothing to do with that at all. But I am going with Ricochet and Aleister Black. For one, it wouldn't be a shocker if the Revival lost the titles because they lose all of, I don't even want to say the word, all the freaking time. They lose all the time, so it wouldn't be anything that's shocking. It'll just be another, Revival lost and they lost the belts. Oh, we saw that happening. Right now, Aleister Black, Ricochet, they were hot in NXT. They're bringing that same hotness over to the main roster. Triple H said he wants to get rid of that whole main roster stigma. So they've been beating every tag team that they've come up against because they're from NXT. And what do the fans want? NXT. So I think that NXT stars, now that they've been called up, they're about to go ahead and take these titles. It's on a pay-per-view, heading to WrestleMania. To have them win every match and to lose at Fastlane, they better win at Mania if they lose at Fastlane, but I don't see them losing. So, new champs.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with this one. I'm going to go in a different direction. I actually am going to call the Revival retaining this one, just because I don't think that you want to go back to Bobby Roode and back to Chad Gable. And I think that with Ricochet and Aleister Black, they are also competing currently on the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Tournament in NXT as well. So I don't think that you'll see them win the Raw Tag titles and then go to the finals of that tournament as Raw Tag Team Champions in order to earn a shot against the NXT Champions. So I'm going to go in this direction, and I'm going to say that the Revival retains on this one based off of that strength alone. I don't know. It could go either way, but I just don't see the Revival dropping the titles prior to WrestleMania. They'll probably lose at Mania, but I don't see them losing the titles prior to Mania. Anyway, next match on the card. This is one of the bigger matches that a lot of people are looking to. As a matter of fact, you know what? I don't even want to jump into that match yet. Huge six-man tag announced with the return of Roman Reigns. We are getting the Shield back together one more time for the 20th time. They're together again. And they're facing Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. Six-man tag. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time talking about that one. The Shield are not losing on their first match back. Who do you got winning this one?
I want to say the Shield. I guess I just have to go with the fact. I'm gonna have to be devil's advocate, and I'm gonna go with Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and whoever the hell else is on their team. I'm gonna go with them winning. I think if they want to really get the crowd more behind Roman, that they would allow him to be, seen in the match. But I think just for the simple fact that the Shield is there is enough. But I don't think that the Shield need this win more than Corbin and them do to further this storyline.
I mean,
I have an opinion on this matter.
Lady Great One in the building, swerves and curves coming at you.
Yes, sorry about my delay and my absence, but I had to jump on. Have mom moments. Some of us all do, and some of us don't. You guys enjoy the kidless life, but either way it goes, yes.
I have animals and pets.
I was gonna say I have a dog. Okay,
you're not gonna sit up there
all
and
right.
talk that parent life to me, son.
Matter of fact, I had to pay $50 for his allergy medicine this week. Okay, dogs expensive.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Dogs,
and I'm not knocking. I'm just saying
part two.
Either way it goes, your girl is in the building. So let me go ahead and drop this little bit of knowledge on you. Just like Roman made his return, I have made my return back to the Marking Out Amongst Friends podcast. Y'all missed me for the first hour? Yeah. You probably didn't. But anyway, I'm going to have to go with this one with the Shield. Just because of nostalgia reasons, Roman came back, one more win for the boys, another breakup, and in comes Vince McMahon and throws Roman in the match at WrestleMania, and we got another triple threat between Brock and Seth and Roman, and they're going to start another Seth Roman storyline.
God,
maybe Roman might be the heel.
They gonna boo him so bad. Oh my gosh.
That would undo all the fan support that he just got from coming back. Soon as he's like, I'm back. Yay! I'm competing for the Universal title. Boo!
Oh my God.
It's going to turn so quick.
Swerves and curves coming at you.
It's going to turn so quick, man.
The only thing that I can see that the people would really beg for Roman to get the title is if Seth goes into WrestleMania and Brock literally destroys Seth and storyline-wise puts Seth on a shelf and Roman steps up to defend his brother's honor, and then the fans will beg for Roman to beat Brock, and then there you go. Unless, if they really want to put the dagger in the fans, they have the Shield reunion at Fastlane, and Roman turns heel on his brothers. That would be must-see TV.
Roman
that
is
what I was going for.
He's the only one who hasn't turned heel yet. Out of the three. We've seen Seth turn his back on the Shield. We've seen Dean turn his back on the Shield.
That would be time for the victorious Roman.
Well, we're gonna see the big dog play devil's advocate and say F the Shield.
Well, think about it. I mean, it only would make sense now for Roman to do that. He's come back. He's had his little glory day. Let the Shield win. He could continue to feud with maybe a face, Drew McIntyre, over the title.
I love Drew McIntyre. I just don't want to see. He's too great of a heel to go to be a face right now.
I don't care anyway. I just want Drew McIntyre in a title shot.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
And they're booking him so well. They're doing a great job with Drew McIntyre. It's like he can't do any wrong right now. He just can't.
Absolutely.
No, he really can't.
Absolutely. I agree. So let's jump right into the next match on the card. Another one that we've seen before, not really super excited about. We got a tag team match for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. The current champions, the Usos, the Uso Penitentiary, defending the titles against former champions, The Miz and Shane McMahon. I smell a curve coming. Maybe not a swerve. It's not a swerve yet, but I smell a curve coming here. Either Miz is going to turn on Shane or Shane is going to turn on Miz. We're going to get one of them that's going to go full heel.
Shane on the Miz.
I'm,
I
I'm,
agree. Shane on Miz
I feel like.
because
Oh, go ahead.
well, the reason why I said Shane on the Miz is because Shane has been the good guy GM the entire time that he's been on there. They're now trying to finally establish Miz as a face. So it would only make sense for Shane to screw Miz, in my opinion.
I want Miz to go face, so I'm definitely going to think that Shane is going to be the person who screws him. But I want Miz to go face, and there's one reason and one reason only. And I don't want him to get his opportunity before Kofi. But we all know that we've been waiting on the Miz and Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship for a while. And I'm thinking post WrestleMania, first of all, I hope to God that Shane McMahon is done with in-ring competition after this whole Miz tag team. Please, if the wrestling gods are listening out there, please don't allow Shane McMahon to take up another pay-per-view spot. Please. That's all I ask. But I'm definitely gonna I'm going for the Miz to be a face just because I want to see that matchup soon. Maybe not at Mania because I want Kofi the Mania to happen, but I definitely want Miz to get a shot going forward. As far as the match itself goes, Usos are retaining. No doubt about it. We need a Uso champion going into WrestleMania. We need the best teams on both respective shows to go into WrestleMania as champions. So I don't want to see a Revival loss, and I don't want to see an Usos loss at Fastlane.
Yeah, I definitely think that it looks like storyline wise, Shane McMahon is getting frustrated with the fact that he's having to do all of the extraordinary moves to try to secure the win, and the Miz ain't doing nothing but cheering him on to jump off this and jump off that and jump off this. And I think it's gonna catch up to him, and that's probably how it's gonna happen. He's probably gonna tell the Miz to jump off something, and the Miz go do it, and he go pull somebody right from up under him and let the Miz crash and burn.
Okay, Lady Great One.
I think that Sean has pretty much hit the nail on the head on that one, but I don't want to be the one to agree. As always, I just think that the Usos are just gonna say to hell with it all and just straight go ham on them. Simple as that. I mean, there's no better way to legitimize them, in my opinion, as one of the most over tag teams in the company. So just let the Usos just become straight vicious on Miz, and Shane just walk away while Miz is out there begging for help, and Shane refuses to help.
Okay, I can get with that. I like that. Next match on the card. We're gonna go for another tag team since we're going for all the tag team matches tonight. All the championships, all the tag team titles are being defended at Fastlane. Newly crowned first inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Boss Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks, defending the title against Nia Jax and Tamina. Who do we got? Will they break the streak and be the one tag team that Jay Ritty feels like is going to lose this weekend? Or are they going to retain and Jay Ritty is going to say, hey, all the tag teams are retaining this weekend? No big mystery here. I think the Boss Hug Connection is going to retain the titles. I think that they need a long reign to add prestige to these belts. So I don't want to see them drop these titles for a while. And this is probably going to be the stiffest competition they're going to have. So they're going to be in for a rough night of no selling and stiff moves.
Yeah. Lady Great, if you would like to go first, ladies first.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. But I think that Bailey and Sasha will retain because there are so many more tag teams that can go up against Bailey and Sasha versus the team of Nia and Tamina. Physically, And all jokes aside, if Nia and Tamina hold the titles, they're going to be holding them for a really long time. They're probably not going to defend them as often or on as many spots as you could with Bailey and Sasha. Um, they like going down and visiting the ladies of NXT, and because they are going to be holding them there, the fans would more or less would prefer to see Bailey and Sasha over Nia and Tamina. Not taking anything away from Nia or Tamina on this note, it's just the fact that with booking purposes and looking at it from a storyline point of view, it would only make sense for Bailey and Sasha right now to at least retain on their first title opportunity, and somewhere down the road, an upstart team might actually be able to take it from them.
True that. So, me personally, I'm looking down the road at the bigger picture here. So it will make sense, even though everybody knows that I love me some Tamina. The woman smelled like Bath and Body Works down at Fan Access when I was down there for Mania in Orlando, Florida. But that's not what we talking about. I'm going to have to go with Sasha and Bailey retaining because WrestleMania, whatever triple threat or fatal, whatever tag match that they're going to have for the titles, I'm thinking because it's supposed to be 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown, and 2 from NXT, might as well bring Jessamine Duke and the other chick on up and go ahead and start this prelude thing going for the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen.
By the way, the other chick that you're looking for is Marina Shafir.
That chick, yes. So even if they don't beat them for the titles, at least them appearing will make it big because it could be 2 women from NXT that's not those 2 women, but they can get involved and cost them their match and the titles. And then now they have beef. And then somehow, some way, you can bring the Queen of Spade in there somehow. But I think that WrestleMania is the stage to start this whole feud because Ronda has already turned heel. So, bam, all of their 4 horsewomen are all heel already. So now you just got to work on getting Charlotte Flair is the only one who doesn't get cheers from the crowd. But that should be pretty easy.
Speaking of that, hang on, Jay Riddy, before you jump right in. Speaking on that, instead of it being possibly Jessamine and Marina, why not it be Shayna and one of the other 2? That way you can go ahead and introduce Shayna being with them to attack. So that way it's not, and then have the other one just like standing there ringside. But if they are going to take on Bailey and Sasha, then why not go ahead and let the Queen of Spades run it with one of the other 2 as well? So then that way you can go ahead and get her involved in the action as well instead of kind of holding Shayna back, even though she is the best wrestler of the 4.
Because people are anticipating seeing her. So when she shows up, it should be more major than that moment. She should show up either in Rousey's match or show up the next Monday night on Raw or show up on SmackDown. Because now that they're having kind of, everybody on the same show now, especially with the women, they're basically on SmackDown and Raw. So with her not being mentioned and she just pops up, that makes it more of a shock factor. That's what I'm thinking.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, since
I like your point too.
Since you brought it up, since we've already mentioned, these 2 women, let's jump right into the next match that we have. I know this is one that a lot of people are looking forward to. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. singles match for the number one contendership. Well, not number one contender. This is a singles match with the stipulation that if Becky Lynch wins, she's going to be added back to the WWE Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. So, key to that stipulation is saying that Charlotte really has nothing to lose here. Because Charlotte's going to be in that match regardless. Becky has everything to gain. Everything to lose and everything to gain at the same time. So when I asked the question earlier, who has the most to gain from this pay-per-view going into the road to WrestleMania, Becky Lynch by far has the most to gain. And for that reason and that reason alone, I am going with a Becky Lynch victory in here. No, I don't even have much else to say about that. Becky's coming out with the W in this one.
I disagree.
So you think that Becky Lynch is going to be removed completely from WrestleMania?
I disagree. So the thing here is they have a lot of time here before WrestleMania to further build this storyline. Why would you go ahead and let Becky win? Not saying that they probably won't let her win, but why would you let her win knowing that you still have more weeks building up for WrestleMania? They look what they did with Daniel Bryan. They let him get so close and then pulled him back. So close, pulled him back. So close, pulled him back. That as soon as he got that win over Randy Orton and Batista, the fans went ballistic. So why would you go ahead and let her win knowing that that's what the fans want? I would somehow make it a controversial loss on her behalf and then have it to where, because she's automatically supposed to be in the match because she's the Royal Rumble winner. She got suspended, suspension got lifted, but that still does not strip her from the fact that she won the Royal Rumble. So that means that they could introduce somebody else who hasn't been seen for a long time, like Linda McMahon. I don't know. But they can do so many more things than to just let her win on Sunday and then that just be it. Because then you still got to carry on the storyline. So if she somehow lost, then the fans going to be like, oh, shit, like what's next?
Okay, you almost convinced me on that one that maybe Becky should lose this one.
And it's my birthday, so I need for her to lose.
Wow, that's a lot to think about there. But yeah, I kind of like where you were heading with that direction. That would be a nice little swerve, just because. Or it could go back to what we were talking about previously with the tag team. Why not go ahead now and have Shayna be the reason that Becky loses the match because she wants a match with Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Now, I can definitely see that. That would be crazy.
Because remember, Becky did call her out on Twitter.
She did. She opened up that mouth.
Well, I'm not going to touch that one.
Ronnie, be it Charlotte, be it Shayna, be it Jessamine or Marina, whichever one. Becky wants them all. So that could be a way to like finesse Shayna into the picture, have her drop her title the night before and fight Becky Lynch, or have her keep her title because Ciampa still has his title. He's an NXT champion. Why can't the woman do the same?
I mean, it's so many different things that they can do to still add her into the match. So the fans would just be so devastated that the next time they see Becky, they want her to whoop everybody's ass. And technically, she's still supposed to be injured. She has a hurt leg. She just been assaulted by Ronda Rousey on air, and then off air was assaulted again. Then on Thursday night, she got hit with the damn what is it? The crutch. Even though she finally got the upper hand, but she's been getting beat down every week. So she should not be 100% to be able to beat 100% Charlotte Flair. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, realistically, she's supposed to lose this match and find some other way to get in there.
Okay. You almost have me convinced to the point where I want to change it around and say maybe Charlotte should win at this pay-per-view, but I'm not letting up. Nope. Not letting up. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
I never did pick a winner. I never did pick a winner.
You
All
didn't.
I said was it would be a cool spot. I never said that I was going to pick Charlotte to win. But I am probably going to go ahead and just roll with, what I think is really going to happen, outside of what I really want to happen. But Ronda's not going to just sit on her laurels and be a champ. I think it may not even be a finish. This is just really what I think. Whether or not it's going to happen, I am unsure, but I don't think there's going to be a finish unless this is a no DQ. I know they had her sign a hold, harmless sort of waiver there so she can actually compete in this match. Becky might have some tricks up her sleeve in order to defeat Charlotte, so I think I'm going to have to go with Becky.
Okay. That was an interesting one, man. Both of y'all came with some stuff there, man. But I'm sticking to my guns. Becky's walking away victorious. I like the idea of there not being a finish. I like the idea of Charlotte Flair winning. So my horizons have definitely been broadened with that discussion. Great job, guys. Since we're on the subject of women's titles, let's go for the trifecta. Back to back here. Singles match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Asuka versus Mandy Rose. Anybody picking Mandy Rose for this one?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. I don't see Asuka losing this title. I thought to myself, I said maybe Mandy Rose just because of the fact that a lot of people find her to be amazingly attractive. I don't see it. I might be the only guy on the planet that doesn't see it. But other than that, I will respect the fact that she's pretty decent in the ring. But is she Asuka level good? Nah.
So the eerie problem in this whole thing is the fact is that people say the same thing about Carmella. And I think what's powered Mandy Rose and the reason why they're pushing her so much is the fact that I don't know if it was Vivid. I think it was Vivid. They were willing to give her okay. So they were willing to pay her $1 million to be in X-rated film, right? So they went up and said $2 million. So if this company is willing to pay you $2 million, you automatically knew that the WWE was going to capitalize off of all of that hype because that's all people been talking about on the internet. Is she okay in the ring? She's watchable because she's pretty. And then she's effective because she has Sonya Deville by her side. So
she's effective with her striking though. Her strikes and especially that running knee is definitely vicious.
I will have to say that this is shades of when Nikki Bella first had her run to becoming the women's champion for the very first time because Nikki Bella had that forearm that would lay your ass out. And she had intangibles about her that was a powerhouse. I
Ooh,
think
that's a big word
because
right there. He said she got
I,
intangibles.
I think I think because she's pretty, she's gorgeous, she has that marketing look, she's somewhat of a hard powerhouse, but she's sexy and seductive with it, and she has an awesome striker watching her back. I think there will be a new champion come this Sunday, whether you like it or not. And the best person, if Carmella was able to beat Oscar, Mandy Rose is going to be able to beat Oscar with help on her side. And then it's going to set up the Mania match between her and Naomi. And it's going to be Jay, or what is it, Jimmy or Jay? Which one she with? Jimmy?
Jimmy.
And Jimmy is going to be by her side. And will we see something happen? Who knows? But I definitely see that as a match at Mania. They really haven't done anything with Asuka being the champion. I think that she was just a placeholder and it shut the fans up. The fans wanted her as champion, so they made her champion. They didn't know what they wanted to do with the U.S. title, so they gave it to R-Truth for being such a great sport until they figured out what they wanted to do with it, which was put it on Samoa Joe.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like all that was some bullshit. First and foremost, I feel like you talked yourself into believing that shit halfway through this talking about that. Like it was like, man, I feel like Mandy Rose, Mandy Rose, you know what? Yeah, I'm behind it, Mandy Rose. Nah, I don't think that Mandy Rose is ready for that spotlight yet, dog. But Lady Great One.
Well, I was a quick nope on that, but listening once again to these lovely, lovely, lovely conversations that we're having right now. When it comes to Mandy Rose, yes, you do have to take into consideration the X factor of Sonya Deville, but you also got to bring back the other X factor, which is Naomi, into the conversation. Because remember, um, Naomi did team with Asuka. They were together. So if Sonya Deville does try to interject in this match, Naomi will probably be the other person to come out and take Sonya Deville out of the situation. So it's back to a one-on-one match. And it might end up being possibly a fatal four-way for the title and pitting Sonya versus Mandy versus Naomi versus Asuka at Mania. Unless you bring over Miss Bliss back to SmackDown and have her fight Asuka or somebody else from Raw, because you're already taking your two most pivotal women from SmackDown and having them in competition on Raw. Unless we're possibly having a Ronda Asuka some moment somewhere along in the future, which I would definitely still love to see. But
You just said a mouthful right there, and you said something that was very pivotal and it stuck out to me. Somebody please finish this phrase. If you can't beat them,
join them.
is it possible that because it's been frustrating trying to get her hands on Mandy Rose and to beat Mandy Rose, out of frustration, she comes out and turns her back on her friend Oscar and helps Mandy Rose to become the new champion? And on the grandest stage, Naomi as a heel versus Oscar at Mania. The
It's another
Usos
one.
are already heels. They're already heels. Naomi becoming a heel completes the family of heels.
Well, her cousins by marriage are already heels.
Right.
Her husband and brother-in-law are already heels. That is a compelling argument, but I think that she's going to snatch her ball first before she tries to join her.
Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting for them to. I'm still waiting for them to do this whole bloodline stable. I think they teased it a couple of years back with the Usos and Roman, and I think that they're all on a much larger scale now than they were back then. And I know I talked all that shit about putting black people together and putting Hispanics together earlier, but if we're gonna, how about we put blacks and Hispanics together? Well, not Hispanics, but blacks and Samoans together in one stable, and let's go ahead and bring this bloodline thing all the way in. I mean, you're not doing nothing with Roman right now anyway. He's just coming back. He wants to get his feet wet. Let's go ahead and get his feet wet into, something different, so to speak. Maybe we bring Roman to SmackDown. What would it be like to have Roman Reigns on SmackDown? Fox is coming. They need a face.
Fox will be all over that, obviously.
Fox is coming. They need it. Bring Roman to SmackDown and put this whole bloodline thing into fruition. And I promise you ratings for that. I promise you there can be ratings behind that.
Yes.
Do it.
That's another topic that I would like to actually delve into a little bit more. Let's get through this Fastlane preview show first, and then I want to go back and revisit this topic because I have a few things that I want to say about that. We'll revisit the Fox coming up, and not only that, but the shakeup is coming up very, very soon too.
Damn straight.
They better shake everything up.
They
promised us new matchups, and I want to see them all.
I like how she just threw that in there. Let's go ahead and finish this little pay-per-view topic. I'm almost done with this.
Let's get this little taste. Let's get this little taste out the way. This little taste.
All right. So the final match on the card that we have not discussed is the WWE Championship. Returning Kevin Owens is coming back to challenge the new Daniel Bryan. Not the old one. It's a new damn Daniel Bryan. He's completely new. Daniel Bryan like you've never seen before. He's got a hemp championship. It's made out of hemp. He smoked the product before he made the belt. That's why he made the belt.
And it's legal in Washington. That's where he's from. Let's
Probably.
not forget that.
Hey, all I'm saying is Daniel Bryan better watch out for a random drug test coming up. But that's neither here nor there.
Nope.
Kevin Owens is returning. This is his first major pay-per-view match since his return. I think this is his first singles match since his return. No. He did have a singles match this week on SmackDown. But Kevin Owens' first major match back. Do you think that Kevin Owens wins the title and we get Kevin Owens and maybe Kofi in WrestleMania? Or do you think that, hey, they put this together to throw us off of the Kofi scent? Kevin Owens doesn't have a real shot. Not all at once now.
Lady.
Oh, I was going to let you take this one first because I got to do something real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. I think that Kevin doesn't have a shot. I feel that the people know what they want. It was really good to see Kevin Owens come back unexpectedly. Nobody knew he was coming back, so great for him. But I just don't see him winning the title just coming fresh back. Because one, nobody is wanting him to have the title right now. So I wouldn't mind him doing something else, going for another title or feuding with somebody else. But no, I see Daniel Bryan still retaining because they're going to have Big Hoss out there at ringside. And Egg Roman ain't been good for nothing. So at least if he can keep the title on Daniel Bryan, he can have some good on his resume, I guess. But other than that, Daniel Bryan, hemp, champion, vegan, I almost gave up meat because of the new Daniel Bryan.
Okay. First of all, I'm never going to give up meat. As a matter of fact, I can almost relate to Daniel Bryan. Me and my wife are doing this whole keto thing right now. And, I've had to eat a lot of meat. Pause. I feel like there's a lot of pauses that are coming after all this. And I've been eating a lot of meat for the last month. Pause again, Granddad.
You been doing a lot of what?
Been eating a lot of meat over the last month. Pause again, Granddad.
Eating or eating?
Eating.
sorry. I had to do it.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
goodness.
Continue.
But keto is not too much different from, those who might be vegan. I mean, it's different in the fact of what the diet is, but it's a lot of strictness behind that vegan stuff. So I definitely respect Daniel Bryan for that. But enough of his personal life and his dietary habits and whatnot. Kevin Owens is filling this match to throw us off of the Kofi thing. Honestly, I think that they probably do have big plans for Kevin Owens over the next couple of months. I personally would like to see him go back to Raw. I think they dropped the ball with him on SmackDown. So I'm definitely going to go with Daniel Bryan going into Mania as the champion here. We'll get a great match, though.
Yeah, true. I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that he ain't go put on. You know what I'm saying? I just think that if anybody would want to do the honors of putting Kofi over, I think that Daniel Bryan would want to do those honors more because he was in that same position years ago. And it was I'm assuming that he was such an incredible person, along with an incredible wrestler, that you had the CEO, the COO, a legendary wrestler in Triple H wanting to be in a program with you. Future Hall of Famers like Randy Orton and Batista, wanting to be in a program with you, have you get a lot of punishment handed to you, and they still wanted to, help put you over in the match. You know what I'm saying? In your path of greatness. And Kofi, he hasn't had any, run-ins, any infractions, nothing bad on his record with the WWE. The man has been solid. He's worked with everything that they've given him. So now it's one of those reciprocity things that Daniel Bryan should be that person to give Kofi that WrestleMania moment.
You're using a lot of big words tonight. I see you coming through with the vocabulary, sir. I see you. Lady Great One.
Okay, well, in this match, we definitely have a few things that we need to discuss. Number one, Kevin Owens. Has he returned as heel or face?
Face.
Currently face, but he hasn't really had a full-on story yet. So right now, we don't know.
He's a tweener. Mm-hmm. He's a tweener.
No.
So
face because he's been fighting nothing but heels.
He's only had 2 matches.
Right, and they both been heels.
One is against Eric Rowan, which is he's feuding with Daniel Bryan. The other one, he tagged him up with Kofi his first night back. So none of those are really, his character, more so like this is the moment he's been put in because he's in the championship match. He hasn't really shown anything character-wise yet. So I'm with Lady Great One on that. He's more of a tweener on this at this point in time.
Right. Okay. Then my next thing is if he does win the title, then what type of story does this set up? Does this set up a triple threat, or does this set up a revenge match? I know there are no more automatic rematches. Do you think that they could build a story between Kevin and Kofi? Or do we just keep it the way it is and let Daniel Bryan go ahead and advocate, well, the way that we're seeing it is to let Daniel Bryan go ahead and advocate for Kofi to be his next opponent in a one-on-one match at Mania. So we do get Kofi Mania. There's just a few things that have just been like mulling around in my head on this one because I'm like, well, how could they spin this to make Kevin Owens and Kofi have a great Mania match if Kevin Owens does happen to take the title off of Daniel Bryan? Or do we go ahead and let Brian have another great WrestleMania moment where he puts over Kofi? Hopefully, in other words, and I'm hoping Kofi is going to get his match at Mania, first and foremost. It doesn't matter who it's against. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to work and how this match will play out. So I can't really pick a clear and concise winner here because of the simple fact is I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on this one. This is the one where I'm lost.
Okay. Well, there's only one way that we're going to be able to find out, and we just have to stick around this Sunday and tune into Fastlane to see who's going to come out victorious and see who's really got the reads, quote unquote, on the show. So let's go ahead and spin back around to this whole Fox shake-up Roman Reigns topic. So since you wanted to bring that one back up, I'll let you go ahead and, lead this topic for us to see, exactly where your mindset is at for this.
Okay. Well, with the new Fox deal coming up, SmackDown, if you haven't been sleeping underneath a rock or anything, this coming October, SmackDown Live will be heading to a new network. They will no longer be a part of USA. They'll be heading to the Fox network. Unsure of what actual channel on the Fox network that they will be a part of. I'm not sure if they're going to be on regular Fox broadcasting or if they're going to be on FS1 or something like that. However, there are going to definitely be some changes to the rosters. We all know that the shakeup is coming. They announced it for April 20th, somewhere up in that range. A week or two removed from Mania is when they're going to start shaking up stuff. So, who are some of the people that you feel will be shooken up besides Ronda Rousey? Because Fox has eminently said that they want Ronda Rousey on SmackDown.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Like I said, besides Ronda. So, who else would you like to see shaken up and why?
Other than Ronda and, of course, I already mentioned Roman Reigns earlier. Prior to the whole thought of the Bloodline storyline and making them a stable, I was thinking more so along the lines of I was thinking that the Usos should go to Raw, but I'm not so sure about that one now. I would love to see Nia Jax come to SmackDown. Let's see. As far as movement to Raw,
AJ Styles.
Of course, AJ Styles. Of course. Being that Seth Rollins looks like he may end up being Raw's face of the franchise, so to speak, coming up, I don't think that Seth Rollins is moving anytime soon. I would love to see Finn Balor go to SmackDown. I would love to see the mid-card champions actually switch. I would love to see Samoa Joe come back to Raw as the U.S. champion, and I would love to see Finn Balor go to SmackDown as their Intercontinental champion. As for right now, I mean, a lot of it is going to depend on how a lot of these stories play out. So I don't really know who I really want on either show right now.
But I'm just saying, like, if the shakeup were to happen Sunday, like Monday morning after Fastlane, what shakeups would you go ahead and start now so you can start building up other stories for Mania?
You have to come back to me on that one, man. I can't think of anything right now. Mr. Marty Mart?
Who are the general managers right now?
There are none.
We don't do
All
that
of
no
the
more.
McMahons are all authority figures. They're the only ones who have any kind of authority.
We don't do that general manager
Besides
stuff
Rhea
no more.
Regal and Drake Maverick. Sorry.
Man, I ain't never gonna hold you. I really don't give a damn who gets swapped or whatever, because if they not about to do no meaningful storylines, it's not gonna mean a damn thing. It really ain't. The only thing that they can do is swap a couple of people to make certain storylines happen. But as soon as those storylines happen, it's a wrap. Like we don't have it as good as we used to have it, many years ago, where people can work with a range of different people and put on classic matches and, have about three, four, five classic matches and be able to still, fight other people. It's like once you fight a couple of times, then it just gets stale. So I really don't care. I mean, I already know that they probably go, send Ronda over. They're gonna send AJ Styles over. But other than that, I could care less, like really, because I think they're gonna do the whole Randy Orton versus AJ Styles thing. I think that's gonna be fire though. I am looking for that one. That one's gonna be fire. But tag team division done got stale. Um, the Usos are still the best tag team in the whole company combined on all the shows, all the way across the different brands. They're still the best tag team. And they're the best tag team. They're the most exciting. They get the most, excitement out of people. People want to see them the most. And I mean, until they start fighting other tag teams that they haven't fought before, they're still going to be regarded as the team that's the best. I mean, they can have classic matches with a lot of other people in the company, but when you think of tag team division, who are the first tag team you think of? The
Yeah,
Usos.
yeah, I can
The
definitely say the
Usos.
Usos.
It's like they're a staple. Okay, well maybe okay. Let me rephrase that. They're the staple of the tag team division. If you don't think New Day, you think Usos. If you don't think Usos, you think the New Day. Outside of that, nobody else is even really mentioned or considered.
Unless you want to talk about nostalgia and you bring up the Hardys.
We won't
We'll
do
put two
nostalgia. We
together.
won't do nostalgia just because they've done too much for them not to be regarded as a staple in the tag team division.
Well, they could also put on another classic match here at Mania for the SmackDown tag team titles for Matt and Jeff to have one more run together as the Hardy Boys for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships against the Usos,
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
which they haven't fought. That's the thing. They haven't fought.
Man, probably for good reason.
I'll pass on that one. I'm good, love.
I'll be alone
Like,
on that one.
like
I'll be alone
knowing.
on that.
Okay, now I tell you this: if Jeff, let's say if the Usos was like, okay, boom, we want somebody to fight. If the Hardy Boys came out, they'll blow the roof off WrestleMania again. But knowing that it will be announced that they're fighting against the Hardys, eh.
Okay.
Now,
All right. I understand what you're saying. But
if Ciampa didn't get hurt, now DIY would have been dope versus the Usos at Mania.
There's a lot of NXT teams that can match up well with the Usos, and that was kind of why
I was trying to get to.
Yeah, that was why I made that noise when you said they're the clear cut best of all shows. I was like, you're making a big claim that they're definitely the most decorated champions in all of the shows when it comes to WWE. But the best, they got some matchups that they need to have before we can crown them the clear cut head and shoulders best over everybody else.
Okay. Well, that was the other thing. Like, y'all didn't mention anybody at all when I was talking about shakeups from NXT, and that's where I was kind of leaning towards. But y'all didn't take my hint, so I'm just going to go ahead and fish it out for you. Speaking of Fish, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Roderick Strong, the Undisputed Era needs to go ahead and come up.
Mm-hmm.
I think now is the perfect opportunity. They're on their quest for gold, so to speak. They're just got eliminated. If you didn't watch, the Dusty Rhodes Classic is going on right now. They just got eliminated by DIY in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. So why not go ahead and pull those guys up to the main card and give somebody some undisputed hell? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what I said Monday in the Game Runners on who I would love to see them debut against.
The Shield?
Of course. Go bigger, go home. Go bigger, go home.
But I'm gonna tell you why I don't like what you just said though.
Why?
I think that they should have been the reason the Shield had to form back together. They should have been that new threat that was terrorizing everybody, and the Shield had to form back together to take them out. That would have made them more legit. But I do like what you were saying though. But I think that the Shield should have had to come back for a big threat, and the Undisputed Era should have been that big threat.
Well, it's too close to Mania for it to happen right now. If Seth Rollins wasn't already in the Universal Championship match, I would say, yeah, that should have been who they were facing at Fastlane rather than the random tag team of, Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. I would have loved to see that now, and going into Mania, that would have been an amazing match / feud. However, I think what they're probably going to do, and because she mentioned them being eliminated, I did mention the Dusty Rhodes Classic earlier in the show as well. Because they were just recently eliminated, I can definitely see, more than likely, you'll probably see either a couple of vignettes advertising that they're coming to the main roster soon, or they're going to come to the main roster and beat the holy high hell out of some big name. Like, I think the Undisputed Era is one of those teams that you got to put a lot of steam behind them. You remember how they made their entrance on NXT, right? As a faction. Adam Cole, baby, came out of nowhere after Drew McIntyre had just won the NXT Championship. And that's where we saw the Undisputed Era form after they jumped him after that match.
Yes.
And I think that when they debut on the main roster, you need to see them do something very similar. If they don't do it to anybody else, maybe John Cena. John Cena, where do you think he'll go? He's been a free agent since before being a free agent was cool. Is he ever going to come back full time? Is he going to be...
I doubt he'll come back full time. I'm going to go ahead and cut you off there. I doubt he'll come back full time. It might be another 1 or 2 matches, and we'll get more Cena doing the Undertaker role, coming back for the big stuff, Mania, possibly SummerSlam. And then we're going to eventually have to go ahead and say goodbye to Mr. HLR, Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect. But considering that maybe for the United States Championship, we might possibly get a Joe and Cena match, that would be dope. And then have the Undisputed Era come out. During that, attack and beat the crap out of both Joe and Cena. And then just have sort of the invasion of NXT storyline start to happen, where all over Mania, all NXT people will just start popping up everywhere and start to try to take over on both shows. Because you already have, 10 NXT stars already on the rosters, kind of.
As far as new debuts, yeah.
Yeah, because you got Lacey Evans, who hasn't done anything really yet besides walk out to the ring, show her face, turn around, and walk back up.
That's good enough.
Then you got Nikki Cross. She's been on a few matches. You've got Heavy Machinery,
EC3.
EC3. You have Lawrence Sullivan, maybe, kind of, sort of. I don't know what the status is there.
You got DIY, Ricochet and Black.
DIY.
No, you got half the DIY.
Ricochet.
Ciampa hurt. Ciampa hurt.
We don't know.
Ciampa's hurt currently.
But he has.
Still got Gargano, obviously.
He hasn't been hurt on TV yet.
He go and the doctor go tell him to do it himself.
Because DIY. I got it. I see what you did there. But yeah, Ciampa hasn't gotten hurt on TV yet. So right now, for booking purposes, Ciampa is still active and ready right now.
But I mean, like, considering that he's been fighting on SmackDown and Raw, are they just gonna like completely just hold them out, or that's the question? And anyway, yeah.
What does that mean for the NXT Championship going into WrestleMania weekend or Takeover weekend? Excuse me.
Exactly, because Takeover New York is always the night before, and that's the next big thing to happen. So we don't know if there is going to be a NXT title champion at that time, considering that we're still so far out from Mania, and if he's seriously injured, well, with the leak that had been released, let's just say it like that, reports that he is currently injured. I don't know.
Ooh, baby.
Will be the
I just want to hear you say that at Mania, because that's just going to be loud as hell.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, whenever they make their main roster debut, it's going to be a huge pop when they come out. It's going to be a huge pop. They're probably the most main roster ready faction. Well, probably the only faction first and foremost, but they're probably the most main roster ready of anything on NXT right now. Besides, the current North American champion, but he can't leave yet. The Velveteen Dream, do you think that he could get called up during the shakeup?
I think it would be a great a time as any. He's finally got his first taste of gold. He can go ahead and drop it to Matt Riddle, because it looks like they're possibly setting up towards that feud.
Ooh,
because, the spotlight shines the brightest on the Dream, and what better thing to do to steal the show? And a person who doesn't currently have anything going on, who is the show stealer, I think that should be his first feud. Dolph Ziggler. The Velveteen Dream. You heard it here. Swerves and Curves.
I like it.
The motherfucking Velveteen.
All right.
That would be, though. Velveteen Dream and Dolph Ziggler, the show stealer and the show stopper?
I don't like it because they're gonna have Dolph lose. I'm tired of it.
No. They don't have to have
I'm tired of it, man.
I mean,
okay.
You're gonna have to give up on the Dolph train at some point, man.
So, never. So let me ask this question. All right. So, what is more important here? Would your legacy as a superstar outweigh your bank account, regardless to what you amount to? Like which one would weigh heavy to you in your personal opinion? Like, if you were a superstar, is future Hall of Famer, multiple world title winnings, a Grand Slam champion, does all that go better than nice ass paychecks?
Well, if I have all of that accolade wise, and I'm pretty sure that my paycheck is probably already fat. So I'm gonna definitely go with the accolades and accomplishments. Now you can be paid and not have that, and I would still be happy. But if I'm gonna make my choice, I feel like if I'm gonna be, Grand Slam Hall of Famer, winning every title in the company at some point, you know, I'm gonna get the fat paycheck behind that. No doubt about it.
Well, I mean, the accolades, the accomplishments, the fame. What was that old saying? First you get the money, then you get the power, and then you get the power, then you get the respect. It's all about the money, power, respect, right? That's what we need in life. Money, power, respect.
Is it?
Yes.
If you got the
It might be the key, like,
accolades, if
Sleep
you
at
got
night.
the, huh?
I say you better sleep at night.
If you have the accolades and you have all the positives, the money's gonna come or the money's gonna stay. So, as you said, JB, Mr. Riddy, um, yeah, the legacy means a whole lot more because money does come and go. I think the legacy means more than the money.
You can make money doing anything.
Okay, so legacy over paycheck. I mean, because granted, our truth makes a whole hell of a lot of money. But is his wrestling career Hall of Fame worthy?
Yeah, no doubt.
I agree. I think it is.
You know what I'm saying? If you're just looking at what he's done in the WWE, you might question that. But, we're talking about a multi-time, NWA champion here. He's shown that he could have a success. It was the stock that he built for himself by being himself when he left WWE the first time is what made him a hot commodity to be signed when he came back. He's definitely a revolution. He revolutionized, I would say, on the indie circuit, a lot of successful black superstars. I feel like he kind of kickstarted, a movement, and I might be giving him a little too much credit, but all in all, R-Truth is definitely a legend, and he's definitely one of those guys who his character and mic work are very underrated. And if you don't believe me, just looking for example, last week, the week prior to him dropping the title, when he came out and pretended to be, well, not pretended to be, but said that John Cena was his hero and that he wanted to be like him ever since he was a kid, and was even doing John Cena's moves during the match. Tried to do a 5-knuckle shuffle, and he tried to do an AA through the match. So, I mean, his character development, his ability to talk is definitely one that's underrated. And he never ages. R-Truth looks the same since he came back to WWE. Did you know that R-Truth is 47 years old? He's almost 50.
He's older than John Cena.
Yeah, he's almost 50. He's well older than John Cena.
That shit was funny.
But think about a 47-year-old man coming out there in the phenomenal shape that he is, the phenomenal youth that he has, and on top of all of that, he's still entertaining. Definitely Hall of Fame worthy.
If not anything, he should definitely go down in the Hall of Fame just because of the simple fact that he may not have the titles, but nor did some of the other people in the Hall of Fame. A lot of people didn't have as many titles as, say, like Flair, obviously, Cena, obviously. There have not been too many people who have even reached double digits in like world title championships. So in order to say that R-Truth is not Hall of Fame worthy, I'd have to totally disagree with you there, because he's made a Hall of Fame career out of not quite being a sideshow act, so to speak, but just because of the work that he's put in, the effort, the time, he's made it this far, no scandal. no controversy. He's been doing music as well. He's always been in every spot that he's given, he shines at it. So definitely R-Truth has a Hall of Fame worthy career, even though he doesn't have the titles behind it to support it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right.
But that's
True
an
that.
interesting discussion. I want to save a little bit of this because we're hitting the last pit stop on the road to WrestleMania before we hit that final stretch this weekend. So this weekend, looking forward to the pay per view. If you didn't catch him say it earlier, it's also going to be our special guest, Shawn Mart. His birthday is this coming weekend, so we're gonna have a little shindig. We're gonna cut a rug or two this weekend, as well as watch the pay per view. Can't wait for this whole weekend to get here, honestly. And I took the day off of my 9 to 5 Monday afterwards too. So that's gonna wrap it up for the show tonight. I just want to jump right into our final thought here, Mr. Mark, because you're the guest on the show. We'd like to go ahead and jump in and let you get yours first.
Um, I will not be shocked nor surprised if Mandy Rose walks out champion this Sunday. You know where you heard it first, people. Um, I'm also not wanting Becky Lynch to lose, but I think it would spice things up if she didn't win on Sunday. But overall, this is their last impression upon the fans to get them excited for Mania. This could make or break a lot of stuff. I pray that all of the talent is protected, even the revival. I hope nobody gets injured, because at the end of the day, they're human beings and they gotta, feed their families. And also, it'll suck having all of these, storylines and steam geared towards WrestleMania for somebody to get a freak injury or accident, and then boom, those plans fall through and they got to do something else. So I just hope for the best for everybody in the company.
All right, all right. Lady Great One, you got a final thought for us tonight?
Um, my final thought lies on NXT. Actually, I didn't get a chance to say much about NXT, but if you haven't been watching it, you're missing some good stuff. Um, Not this last episode where we were focused on the Dusty Road Classic, but the episode prior, there was a match between Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee. Now, these are two really big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Dijakovic is like 6'7", like 275, and athletic as hell. And then you got Keith Lee, who's over 300, and this man is leapfrogging people like they were nothing. And that match, it ended in a double count out, referee stoppage. It was great. I can't wait to see these two big behemoths collide again in 2 weeks' time from right now. That's one of the next advertised things. And also on that same show, we're going to get the number one contenders match for Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair to fight Shayna Baszler. Now, once again, I love these two women, especially my girl, the EST. Um, I'm not sure if they're going to strike again with Bianca versus Shayna. I don't know. I can't wait to find out. Maybe they are going to go with EO, or maybe they're going to have some crazy other stuff happen in which Kyrie gets back involved again. Best friend versus best friend. I don't know. Either way it goes, NXT always gets me so hyped, and they're doing an incredible job. And Triple H, great job to you putting this together, being the brainchild behind this. And that's my final thought. Um, if you're not watching NXT, you're missing some of the best things going on right now.
Big facts. Big facts. Well, for me personally, my final thought tonight, I always hate to do a sad, somber final thought. But definitely rest in peace. R.I.P. to King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy, former WWE superstar, WWF superstar, passed away earlier this week. He was definitely part of that golden era where you definitely saw Hogan, Savage, and a lot of those guys right along the time that we first started watching wrestling, and it kind of hurts your childhood a little bit to see that. But my heart goes out, condolences goes out to his family and all of his friends. We here at the Marking Out show, Marking Out Amongst Friends podcast, excuse me, definitely want to give our condolences to the family. Rest in peace. Thank you for your career that you gave and paving the way for a lot of big guys in the 90s. Other than that, it's been a great episode. It's another one in the books, Marking Out Amongst Friends out. Catch us live every Thursday night on YouTube. Probably 7:30, 8:30 CP time. Once again, if you don't know what CP time is, I'm not going to tell you. Don't ask me no more. But let's go ahead and hit our music and take this one to the... Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Hit that damn music.
Look, we're having technical difficulties with the music now.
450 off the top with the top. Leader of the new school, ain't no way to stop us. Mark it out, screaming loud, tell me who you with. Competition is none, cause we lunatics. Walk with me down these roads if you're all in. I love the feeling, baby, time to go to work again. Come together like a fist and we do it proud. Light it up and burn it down, cause we marking out now.
He was marking out, man.